A reading from the Gospel according to John. Jesus said to them, I am giving you these commands so that you may love one another. If the world hates you, be aware that it hated me before it hated you. If you belonged to the world would love you as its own. And because you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Remember the word that I said to you, servants are not greater than their master. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you. If they kept my word, they will keep yours also. But they will do all these things to you on account of my name, because they do not know him who sent me. If I had not come and spoken to them, they would not have sin. But now they have no excuse for their sin. Whoever hates me hates my Father also. If I had not done among them the works that no one else did, they would not have sin. But now they have seen and hated both me and my Father. It was to fulfill the word that is written in their law. They hated me without a cause. And when the Advocate comes, whom I will send to you from the Father, the Spirit of truth who comes from the Father, he will testify on my behalf. You are also to testify, because you have been with me from the beginning. The word of the Lord. Today is a special feast day because it's the feast of not one, but two saints, Simon and Jude. And Simon and Jude are always linked together in this feast day. It's not necessarily obvious why. One belief, one story is that Simon and Jude, the apostles, after Jesus sent them out into the world to go and be the church out in the world, that Simon and Jude were the two that went to Persia to bring the church to Persia, and is ultimately where they were martyred, was in Persia, and forever inextricably linking the two of them in their shared ministry, and which is why even today, 2,000 years later, we still celebrate their feast together, Saint Simon and Jude. And I think, for me, that's the most notable part of this story. When you hear Jesus in this gospel, as he is imparting upon them the real seriousness of what he's asking them to do, to go out and be disciples in this world. He's not sugarcoating it for them, that it will be hard sometimes to go out into this world and to radically proclaim things like loving people even when the world says you don't have to, challenging people to be compassionate when it's going against the will of people to be compassionate, speaking up for justice and for mercy and for love, even when it's not necessarily the popular thing. These kinds of things will cause people to turn against you. It won't always be a piece of cake. And so Jesus doesn't hide that from them. And they go out into the world to try to do it anyway. What's notable about this day for me is that they're not alone. That Simon and Jude do it together. And I have to think that that's got to make all the difference in the world. I know when I am going out into the world to try to do the work that God gives me to do, not just when it's easy, but when it's hard, when it's scary, when it's frustrating, that sometimes going out in this world and trying to be the person Jesus is calling me to do asks a lot of me. And I don't know if I could always do it if I were going it alone. So I am very grateful that I have companions along the way. They support me when I don't have the strength to keep on going. And I, in turn, try to support them when they're facing hard times. So maybe what we could be celebrating on this feast day of Simon and Jude is not just the hard work, the meaningful but hard work Jesus gives us to do, but that we don't do it alone. Look on this day to who are those companions on the road for you, who are supporting you so that you can do more together than you ever would have been able to do by yourself. And in that way, we are marking and celebrating not just a St. John, a St. Simon, and a St. Jude, but companion saints on the road. Amen.